Welcome back to Is It Canon? I'm Tom, that's Ann, and we have a very special guest today. It is the Prez, Andy Krainak, probably the number one name that people get wrong, I would say, on VeeFriends team. You've been called it all, right?
I've been called it all, but you nailed it. I would expect nothing less from you, Tom.
Yeah, well, I actually remember the first time you came on a live stream, I watched a video because I've heard people say your name so many different ways, and you just kind of like look a little annoyed if it's said wrong. So I'm like, all right, I gotta nail this. And so I watched videos, got it. I'm like, nailed it.
I expect the person pronouncing my name to pronounce it incorrectly. So it's actually I just give brownie points and credit if they say it correctly.
That's what I'm looking for. I live for the validation. You know what I mean? So, well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Very excited episode. We want to talk about the very controversial, perhaps, but really kind of groundbreaking, mind-melting issue number 5.
Yes. I see Anne came prepared with the purple cap, too.
I did. I knew the assignment today.
By the way, Anne's monster comic video, like the promotional when you read comic book 5, it might arguably maybe the greatest piece of VeeFriends content ever made.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
There might be a series of it. If I find the right songs for each comic, there might be more.
That's awesome.
Do you want me to send you the link to that Viking beard I bought? The video for?
Sure. I'll go with that.
That was a funny one too.
I agree. Anne's just the most creative person I think I've ever met.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the comics, not about Anne.
Okay, she can't handle it. She's so uncomfortable with compliments. It's hilarious. Her face doesn't move though.
Gary hates compliments too.
You know what? It was cool watching it. His birthday had just passed. Seeing him actually have reaction though to the community video. Which again, guess who did it? Anne.
I did want to say thank you for the community. I heard that was your initiative to put it up. Like, I think we really, really appreciate that. Just being able to see his reaction to it. Like,
I mean, we got to do something with the. We got to do something with the stream, right?
I felt so bad when I knew the swear words were coming. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to swear on TikTok. I was like, we gotta get him banned.
Listen,
did you ask for folks to curse and then you compiled it, or did that just sort of happen organically?
So I asked To the Moon to help me with the intro, to say like, you were just a baby, and then Tom did his thing, and then Soggy wanted to say something. I'm like, well, no, we're gonna do a swear word section. So
I won't repeat what Tom said, but I remember distinctly what Tom said.
Yes. I did not know I was the intro. So we ended up getting moved. I didn't read. Ann put me in a group chat with like 100 people. I was not about to read all the comments. Anyway, we divert. Comic number 5.
Number 5.
I loved about it after reading it. Obviously, it was a much more mature comic. We can't wait to get your perspective on it because at the end of the issue, there was information on the kind of offsite. What do they call it? The summit? What is it?
Offsite, yeah.
Offsite. Okay. And that to me was so interesting, so fun. There's a picture, you're in it, Rips, DJ, Chris, Gary, and I just can't wait to hear your perspective. We got DJs, we got Rips. So
was it more mature than you were anticipating?
Yeah.
Yes,
it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't go in knowing, I didn't see the disclaimer, right? Because I wasn't looking for it, but it definitely caught me off guard. A couple of these frames. I mean, like I knew that it wasn't, having read the previous issues, especially number 3, it wasn't all kitty, right? We attacked something serious in issue 3, mental health. Some alluding to, some dark thoughts. So I was like, okay, I hopefully they go a more serious route for the monster because it's a more serious character. And no punches held.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the comic number 5, though, because we do have listeners too who are completely new to VeeFriends, can you tell us a little bit about who's Andy Krainak when it comes to VeeFriends? What's your role, your responsibility, and what does your day-to-day kind of look like as the president of VeeFriends?
What's up, noobs? I'm Andy Krainak. I have had the luxury. I'm actually going on year 13 now, working for Gary. Prior to VeeFriends, I managed the Gary V brand, oversaw his content team and everything related to that since 2013. And then I was by his side as he imagined VeeFriends and the characters in 2021. And since then, I've been the president, really trying to see the operations of the company and bring Gary's vision to life.
What does your day-to-day look like? I feel like because a lot of people don't really get to see you or what you actually get to do within the company and like all the different pieces you touch, like what does your day-to-day actually look like?
It's really just trying to manage and lead, make sure that the separate teams, whether it's our comic storytelling team or creative team or product design team or live stream team or finance, legal, operations. I have a lot of amazing people now around me in year 5 of VeeFriends, and it's really just trying to make sure that we're bringing to life the best things every day that we can. It was last year, I think maybe beginning of this year, I had a company call and I laid out our company objective for the quarter was to make VeeFriends fucking cool. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to try to set the bar of what we were up to. I think the characters themselves, aside from the positive alliteration and series 2 design, looking very cute and friendly and kitty, we are a fucking cool brand. We have a fucking cool founder, and fucking cool can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. And I just wanted to try to bring that to life. And I think we did that starting with Chrome and now gearing up for comic books. I'm really excited for what's to come.
You've been there for the inception of VeeFriends, like you sat next to Gary when you drew all of them. How is it for you now seeing these characters really come to life in the comics and like people getting a whole new appreciation for all of them? Like, how does that feel for you?
It's amazing. I think the first 24 months of VeeFriends, it was just trying to figure out how we could keep up with what we had to achieve with VCon, access tokens, Web3 integration, everything related to that. And now to see that we're on to what I would call the purpose of VeeFriends was just to really tell stories and drive connection to the characters, make people fall in love with the characters. We're having a lot of fun. And I'm so humbled to be in the position that I'm in and working alongside Gary and see his dream come true.
I love that. I feel like there's a lot of people who now fall in love with characters they kind of have written off before because they didn't see them as like something important to them or something special, or they didn't quite get the trait, and now they get a whole new appreciation either way through the origin story or through the lesson they're supposed to tell you. And I feel like I'm super excited for that. Just seeing people fall, who some of them even like who kind of fell off of VeeFriends a little bit, fall back in love with it because
100%.
of like you getting all the stories back. And I think it's super exciting to hear.
One of my favorite conversations to have with staff and Gary is discussing popularity of characters and popularity of characters over time and the trajectory of why and when that happened. And it's just fascinating. And I know 100% comic books are going to have probably the most instrumental role in how people feel and rank characters' popularity.
Well, yeah, because we're actually getting to know the real stories now, right? It's time to tell the stories. Up until now, it's kind of just been speculation, right?
Yes.
Gary said
this on a stream. Cool. Here's a link to a Discord comment in 2022.
Right. Or it's just like, it looked cool. You know what I mean? Like I like the flames of the Phoenix, you know what I mean? So that's resonates more with me, or the robot, whatever. So it's really great. I think there's no better storytelling medium than comic books.
I'm sure you heard that from DJ too.
I did, but even before meeting him, I had that same perspective, right? It's just, I've been a long-term comic book fan, and for that reason. And I'm really excited that a lot of people who are coming into VeeFriends because it's fucking cool, because you guys have delivered on a lot of that stuff, are now like, are comic books cool? Because they've like grown up not thinking that, or not being exposed to it. And now they're realizing that, like they are. And here's why. I mean, it's, You know,
It's
they're
one of the
listening
most
to podcasts.
interesting dynamics that I'm trying to dissect personally for myself and strategically within comics. Like Gary has the utmost respect of needing and wanting to be authentic and to storytelling comics in an authentic way. And of course, having someone like DJ who lives and breathes comics really allows us to do that. And since VeeFriends is a modern IP who's really trying to achieve relevance and coolness in a real way, it's also doing it through comics, which over the last 10 years has been on a downward slope. And to see some of the biggest names in the industry be perking up and wanting to talk to Gary and have the conversations with VeeFriends because they're hopeful and excited that we can bring some enthusiasm back to this medium is really fun and fascinating. And it's a balance of like being respectful, but also just doing it our way, which is utter innovation and thinking about all the ways that we're not going to do the same playbook that all the other publishers have done.
Yeah, it's very much a stagnant industry and has been for a while. Like the 90s were very, very innovative and exciting in comic books. And then, with a shift, things got better, but also the Marvel, DC, the big comic industry, like it's like, this is how it's always been done. And artists who work in there still strive to be a part of the big two. And yet, it hasn't kind of caught up with the times. Apps here and sure, like the movies were a big help, but I think that you guys bring such a new perspective, and that's why you're going to see artists and writers perk up over it, because it's something that's shaking up in the industry, something new, a new person, and who's a better onboarder than Gary? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's anything that can bring more readers in, because for
a
so
clip
long
of David Mack on the Whatnot stream, Gary asked the chat how many people are new to comics. The whole entire chat is lighting up, and David's like, "Whoa!"
Right? Yeah, because he probably sees the same people over and over at these conventions.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure he appreciates. He's been around a long time. He's a well-known artist, but you see the same people that have the same criticisms or praise every time.
Yeah.
And you can only put out so much content as a creator in comic books a year. So, when you see him the next year, you've done a few things, but it's not like a whole catalog. What Gary accomplishes in a year, or what you guys, VeeFriends, everyone, they're getting one monthly book done, maybe two.
Yeah.
So there's not a ton of stuff that changes year to year.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be. I'm super excited to see what unfolds next year with VeeFriends Comics, but again, just the industry at large. There's a lot of things we're trying to pay attention to.
Were you a comic book person at all, ever? As a kid, Spider-Man, nothing?
My eldest brother was a comic book guy. He's a Superman, Superman collector. So I would look through his comics and I was curious, but I wasn't a big reader of any sorts. No.
Got it. Are you digging,
Yeah,
are you
I was almost every meeting. I'm just a fly on the wall with Gary and DJ as they're talking to Jay Scott or David Mack or whoever it is. Coming, probably the most I've learned and really helped me a lot was going to San Diego Comic-Con with DJ. We had 3 or 4 days there, and all we were doing was talking comics and meeting people. I was talking to comic book stores, publishers, and just getting a better sense of the space currently and who is excited to talk with DJ and Gary and myself.
Very cool.
I was about to ask, what is your involvement with the comic books itself?
I'm heavily involved. It's a fun balance. Like, I trust DJ the most. I trust Adam the most. I trust May the most. And then I'm just trying to make sure that we're sprinkling in the Gary V of it all. And challenge. Everyone needs a good challenge. And DJ, for the most part, he always steps up to the plate.
He's a pro. He's been around long enough.
He's a pro. And it's a fun balance where, like, the comic book brainstorm or the comic offsite with number 5 specifically, the reason why this will probably be my favorite story ever is because of how it got made. the process and the brainstorm, and that creative brainstorm, I think, is the epitome of what creativity should look like, and what happens when you bring 5 creative people in the room to try and tell a story. Where myself, Gary set the foundation, DJ starts laddering in, adding on things. I start adding in things. May comes from left field of like, oh, what about this? Gary's like, oh my God, yes. And then that leads into a whole other concept and idea that we hadn't even thought about with the story. Sometimes there's crossroads where we have 2 different paths, and Gary's like, all right, stop. And like replays. It's like, the monster could do this or it could do that. 2 completely different outcomes. And I've been a part of the brainstorms and story sessions for every book, and that one by far was the most wild. Like when Gary said, and he buries him alive. But there was like 3 big moments. First, he's like, he digs up his grandfather's grave. We're like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, this is dark. First, the Loserson family was built off of real life interactions Gary's had. Young kids, teenagers, reaching out to him and be like, hey, I want to be this thing, but my parents are holding me back, or my uncle's a dickhead, or whatever the case is, And he was bringing that dynamic in the story, like they're terrible people. And we're like, okay, got that. And then the story keeps going, but he's like, he just misses grandpa so much. He wants to dig him up and hold him. He just like wants to be with his grandpa. And all of us are looking around like, whoa, this is getting kind of weird. He's digging up his grandpa's day to lay with him. But then we start talking about the visual and why that will be so good. And then he tells a story about, okay, and then his brother buries him alive. And then, of course, May's always very thoughtful. He's like, all right, Gary, this is getting like above, like, this is like maybe above PG-13. Like, May, do you know what the fuck I'm doing? Like, this is 3 to 99, But then we hit the climax when everyone in the room jaws drop when he's like, and then he's coming back from drinking the beer at this factory, and he pisses on the brother's grave. We just lose it. We're like, what? He's like, yeah, Andy. But it was so much fun, and reading the comic was amazing. But I will always treasure that brainstorm in the woods that we had for comic number 5, and really pushing the bounds on storytelling and where character stories and VeeFriends can sit within demographic, age groups, all that stuff. In order to tell the stories, we need time and focus and creative space. So we got to go into the woods. I just had a meeting with Gary about our next comics offsite, and I proposed to him a time, which is basically going to be like 9 hours in a day, trying to schedule out 2026. He's like joking a little bit, like, Andy, what do you mean? No, I need like 2 days. We got to go into a cocoon. I don't want anything else other than that. And that is right, because it sets the tempo, and objective to really just dive in. And the single objective is to try to come up with the best stories. We'll come up with Kind Warrior, which is coming in December. I think 9 and 10 are probably going to be a lot of fans' favorites, because 5 has so much story in it, but I think 9 and 10 have a lot of story. They cover a lot of ground, and there's a lot of depth, and there's a lot of things to sink your teeth into. But for Kind Warrior specifically, we had 3 different stories of Kind Warrior.
Really?
Yeah, because we're all collectively brainstorming. One person feels passionate. Like Gary always has like, all right, okay, cool, that story, I want to go Kind Warrior. And he'll give you like, a framework to think off of. This is what it means to me. This is what it's about at a high level. And then we just start pitching concepts and talking about it. And we'll come at a fork in the road sometimes where people are like, oh, I like that story. And someone else is like, I like that story. And then Gary leads and moderates. He's like, decides. So it's just a lot of fun. And I think that's the real point of these comic offsites, to really have the dedicated time and focus to be storytellers and artists and creatives.
I love that so much, because you pitch a shorter time and he's like, no, we need 2 days, which just shows that he loves it, right? He's loving it. I feel
100%.
like, he's such a business guy and he's involved in 100 different things every day, right? But I feel like he has this creative, thing inside of him. He's always doodling, right? And that's kind of he wants, like, he just hasn't worked on the chops of actually writing, right? He has someone, he spits out all the ideas for his business books and someone writes it. Like, I feel like he's loving this, especially that's just right there. He's like, he wants to take more time from his busy life.
I mean, you want to know why I'm bullish on VeeFriends? Because you can tell that these are the things Gary loves.
Right.
Storytelling and collectability and innovation.
Right.
Like, he just turned 50. God willing, we have another 50 years of his passion and enthusiasm behind this brand. I mean, he tells me ever since VeeFriends was created, like, I fucking love this. And he's managing a lot of businesses. But over time, I think he's just going to continue to be more and more passionate about these characters and these stories.
You could feel that on his birthday stream when he started talking about it. Just like you could feel his you could see this in his face and in his voice, like how passionate he's about it.
Like comic number 5, like, this is his story. I can promise you, DJ or I weren't like, and then he buries him alive. No, this is all from the mind of Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, Chris and Gary totally. They take this, the comics offside is like, listen to like your grandpa or parent tell like this like iconic story, and you just have it burned into your memory. But then you have to do the work of actually making it come to life visually with the words, and they did their thing too.
I think that's why number 5 is my favorite, because it's Gary for me. Like, I think especially because I made the video around it, I spent a lot of time with it, just like reading through it over and over. I think I've seen it, like, in the community, people love this, even though it was so extreme, but people who are new to it have a little bit of a standoffish, because like, what is going on here, which is exactly Gary. If you don't know Gary, you just see somebody who is swearing, like, who's a little bit out there, you don't understand it. But if you really get to know him, like, hear more about it, you understand it. And I feel like that's what this comic is for me. If you really spend time with it, if you understand Gary and you understand VeeFriends, you get this comic. And if you don't, it might not be your favorite. And I feel like that's why I feel like that's him in a nutshell. Like, all the stories, like, for me, for example, the scene where he gets buried, I think that's more his. And again, maybe it's me reading into it, but I think that's the cool thing about comics. You can kind of put your own interpretation onto it.
Of course.
Is what Gary always talks about, how people try to kind of bury your dreams. It's so much easier to pull you down or bury you than pull yourself up. And like, that's what his family is doing with him. Like, they're the losers, since they don't want to do anything with their life. They just want to like coast away. But he wants to make something out of his life. And they're like, if you make something out of your life, we look like shit. So we're just going to pull you down and bury you so we look okay. And I feel like that's the metaphor for me in that moment as well. Like, all the metaphors in there are so much, all the things Gary has been like talking about for decades now, just like in one book. I think that's why it's my favorite.
Well said. I completely agree.
And I feel like even the pushing out the heart, like, the first time I read it was at Comic-Con, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I knew there was a warning. I knew it would be extreme. But I was like, it threw me off. I'm not gonna lie.
When I saw that page for the first time, I was like, whoa, that is definitely a heart coming out of his chest.
Yeah.
But then I feel like the heart, again, for me, I'm big into metaphors, is it's your belief system. For like, your brain is like your logic, and like your heart is your belief system. Of like, if you push past all the belief systems of your family and of society and just like push that away and just believe what you want to believe in, I feel like that's when you turn into a monster, but in a positive way. I feel like what Gary's always trying to tell, like, if you stop listening to others and if you stop like all these belief systems you are holding you back, you turn into a monster because you're unstoppable. That's when you, like, I feel like, unlock the last level of a game. And it's like, if you understand that everything in life is you, nothing can hold you back anymore. Like, not society, not the economy, not what's going on, not what somebody's talking about you. It's all you. You decide if you're successful or if you fail in life. It's all you. That's why I'm like, I love this comic. It's my absolute favorite.
I love it. Most
And just cooked, by the way.
Like,
Yeah, you
I've
like
been
it.
sitting on this for like weeks. It's like, I'm going to keep this for the podcast. I'm not talking about it.
It's exactly right. You know, Gary.
There's a lot of metaphor in here.
Yeah, Gary is that kid in the book trying to, be a winner. Just pure heart of a DNA of an entrepreneur, believing in themselves. And unfortunately, his family wants to tear him down because they don't want to see people win, which is almost even darker than suppressing them because you just don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that it's his family, it makes it more devastating, right? And I feel like a lot of people feel this way and can relate, which is why this might resonate with a lot of people. On the surface level, this is like, it's shock value, right? He's pissing on a grave and all that, but it's not. And if you struggle with like people around you, like your circle bringing you down, and you can't get, like he's not old enough or not in the position where he can just move away, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to say, like, to move away from Gary, Indiana, right? Move away from everyone. He might be too young. He might not, you know what I mean? But he's trying. He saved up to buy signs. Like, he's clearly not well-to-do. So, and he's just really stuck. But there was the one guiding light of his grandfather.
Well, and now Motivated Monster is both of them.
Yeah.
Right? Two individuals who, as we know, are real winners, really motivated, want to be leaders, and as Ann eloquently said, they try to bury their motivation, but that's not going to work.
Like, there's a couple, again, like this book is just filled with like, if you know Gary and if you know VeeFriends, it's like there's Easter eggs that you only will understand if you know him and VeeFriends.
Yeah.
So there's one of them where he wants to see a sign and the worm comes out. We all know it's the worm from the dirt. It doesn't say it, but it's like, for most people, it's just a sign that he's asking for. But if you know, it's like, just work hard. Just keep at it. Like, you're doing right. Like, just, if you keep working hard on it, you're going to make it. It's like, I'm going to be so excited that some people come in and will, like, this will be some of their first comics, and they will read them and not quite understand it because they don't know VeeFriends yet or what that character is. And we'll reread it in a couple of years. Yeah. And it just like clicks and it's like, man, that's that character. Like, those little moments are just so cool within the book. And then there's, I'm mixing up the names of Larry is his brother.
I always get him confused. Don't worry.
Larry's the main guy. Barry is the
Barry's the evil brother.
Right.
Yeah. He says nobody even remembers what Grams did to get all that cash, and nobody came looking for Larry. Nobody cared. And that's such a Gary thing too. Nobody cares. And the most positive thing. It's like, nobody cares how you made your money when you die. Nobody cared like what happened to you. Like, if it's all up to you. Like, nobody's actually looking at you. Just do the fucking content. Just do your life. Like, nobody actually cares. Just do it. And I feel like there's so many hidden Gary things he said throughout the years in this book that just, again, you only understand it and see it if you know him and if you know VeeFriends, which makes this so cool. Like, especially the more I read it, the more it's like, that's what he said. This is what he said at some point. It's just like, it's so many different parts. It's so fun to read through it.
When he throws, I actually don't even know the answer to this. I was thinking about when, again, because as this story, we were brainstorming it and Gary was laying it out, things just started connecting. And one of the first things actually that I think DJ brought to life was around how did Motivated Monster get the 5-star? Mm-hmm. And of course, his brother smashes the trophy. Does the trophy actually say like 8th place on it?
No, I zoomed in several times to try to see it. Oh, wait. Does it?
No.
Does it say anything?
No, it doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I was looking for it though.
We were talking about and TJ is obsessed because of how Gary obsessed is too, just with trying to abolish 8th place trophies and the whole concept of that. And he loved the idea of getting this 8th place trophy smashed and a shard comes off and puts the 5-scar on his cheek.
Is the dates of Gary, the grandfather, he was 65 years old. Like, is that significant?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's on purpose. Did I miss something that is obvious, or is that,
No, it's intentional. It's about, we're trying to place the I mean, there's a couple of dynamics, but the overarching is just placing Larry and Barry's age in the right time frame.
Got it. Okay.
Makes sense.
So it allowed Grandpa to be able to have known and met Larry as a young kid, like 2-3 years old, and then he passed.
Got it. Okay. I should know if like someone's grandfather passed at 65 years old, or the year 2000 being something significant. I didn't know. We're just when it's so blatantly in your face, you just have the question arises. But that makes sense.
We always kind of pick our favorite panels within them, and it's hard for this one for me because there's so many. One it always, again, it reminds me of one of the things that Gary said once, like that's so famous for him, is when he's in the car and somebody comes up, can you tell me 3 motivational words? And he says, you're going to die. And then I realized that the last 3 panels is going to die like in 3 panels. So I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but like it reminded me instantly of like that moment where he says, you're going to die. And it's like it sounds so harsh, but it's so true, and like just like gets you out of your mind of like stop overthinking shit and just do it. Like you get one life, just do your things you want to do. And I feel like that's why it's technically 3 panels, cool. But like it's a 3 words and it's 3 panels. Like they don't gonna. And again, it's one of those things. It doesn't say you're gonna die fly on it. So only people who know either way his content or know VeeFriends will truly understand that sequence. Yeah. And I think that's so cool about this comic, that there's so many little hidden Easter eggs in there.
There's a fun, like the worm in the dirt. It will always be up for debate, I think, on whether or not that is the worm for the dirt and the worm for the dirt's first character appearance. It's like the unofficial first appearance, but maybe the official. As we've started to tell more stories, Gary and DJ have had some fun dynamics of Gary being like, wait a minute, that's another character first appearance. He can't be in this book. Like he's trying to really focus on the character appearances, and DJ, of course, is also really just trying to maximize the story.
Right.
That's a fun dynamic.
It's good though, like because they do strike a balance of it. Because DJ's creative. He wants to put in the little. We noticed so many cameos in issue 3. There was like 14 or 15 characters.
Exactly.
Like,
that's when this all started to hit ahead.
Right. There's a fucking penguin under a New York bridge. Why is the penguin? Like, there's probably a reason, but like what? So
So that's it. That's his first appearance, right, DJ? You're like, yep.
Well, good thing that you have 280 plus to kind of pull out from. So God, Ann and I have talked at length of how we would love to just be a fly on the wall, sitting in the corner during those offsites, just to hear. I mean, I would love to, you know what I mean? Like, of course. It must be so fun for it to be, a group effort, getting the different perspectives and it being such a welcoming, like, no idea, like throw it out. DJ's told us about like, someone threw out an idea. I was like, no, definitely not. But like, keep it coming.
Yeah.
It's very cool how collaborative it is.
100%. That's how Gary operates, honestly. And it's really rewarding.
I gotta know. So you were there when he was creating characters. How many days did it take? It was out in Malibu, right? With all like the draw. So like, how many days were you there that he drew it all out? And like, how mapped out was he? Like, okay, I know I want 200 and this, like it, because I was thinking that let's just throw a whole bunch out. But there are things that he has said, like, I always knew Bad Intentions was going to have some sort of be related to something. Like there was always the plan.
I mean, so he probably in like March, I would say, had March 21 had come up with the idea that I'm going to launch an IP company and it's going to be built on the blockchain and it's going to be series
fast.
1.
Yeah.
And then May we go to Malibu, and in between March and May, he had been doodling. We have the alpha sketches, Bad Banana, Empathy Elephant. There's alpha sketches out there of characters, some of which made it into VeeFriends, others did not. He drew the entire character collection in a week.
Right.
And it's fun. You can see it in the series 1 drawings. Passionate Parrot, he was locked in for an hour. Color, beautiful. It's arguably maybe the best series 1 drawing. Astronaut is also really good drawing. Other characters, not so much.
Right.
But
Peace out.
honestly, before to get there, we had, a directory of attributes and traits that we knew resonate with Gary and his brand and the things that he talks about, and a list of every animal under the sun.
Got it.
And that was like his direction for it to get him going. And of course, if you know Gary, and sort of like comics, if you really, really love an idea, you got to think of how you seed it to him, because it needs to be his idea. So if I loved a character, I'm like, ooh, this wasn't one, because if I said this, it probably would have been one. Ravishing Raven. I'm like, Ravishing Raven. No. But if you if you triangulate it, you could get there. But before all of that, honestly, the first 3 days were built around the access tokens.
Okay.
And VCon, and
So
the amount of characters and tokens we would do for that, because that was outside of the collectability and the IP and the stories we were going to build. The immediate focus was going to be to bring utility and value to the purchase of this NFT through attendance to a conference, or playing ping pong with him, or basketball, or some of the other access experience tokens.
So, like, was there ever a time where he's like, Andy, I want to do a robot. What, give me a word, like pull from the list, or I need we forgot to add respectful. Like, give me an R, You know what I mean? Like, was there any, or was it kind of
there's some, I don't know if this has been shared before. I think it has, maybe. There's definitely characters that didn't make the list.
Okay.
There's drawings of characters that didn't make the list.
Got it.
Gift Goat was actually going to be Gift Genie.
Oh.
There's the Gift Genie drawing was hard, man. That was it was like a GIF with a genie coming out of it.
Yeah.
And we were actually thinking of doing, halfway through, like, Gift Genie to Gift Goat, there was both, and we were actually thinking about it similarly to like the FaceTime, where there's Face and Frog and Fly and Fleet. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, maybe I'll do Gift Goat and Gift Genie. He just went with Goat. But there are some other cool VeeFriends characters that did not make the list that we have drawn in the vault. And of course, this is where like Adam's mind starts exploding. He's like, I remember the first time he discovered it. He's like, whoa, Andy, what are these? I'm like, oh, those are the drawings that didn't make to VeeFriends characters. He's like, oh my God. Like, from his collector's mindset, he thinks those are the coolest.
So were the 15 rookies, were they conceptualized during Malibu, or is that truly like it? Okay, they were all later drawings. They weren't even thought about, and were just like maybe in the future.
Yeah, for the most part, like, Gary came in and was like locked in. He knew what characters he wanted to draw.
Got it.
And what they're going to be called. And honestly, credit to him as a validation for how serious he takes comics and storytelling. Very rarely, I've worked for him for over a decade, maybe 3 or 4 times I've seen him have notes to a meeting. He's, and not because mostly he doesn't need it. Right. He's just so capable and articulate and quick-witted. But he came to the comics offsite when we wrote Motivated Monster with like notes. Like, he brought out his notepad of, this is what I want to talk about with the monster. This is what I want to talk about for this book. This is what I want to talk about for that book. And right when he did that, I'm like, oh, it's game time. Like, we're ready to go.
Yeah. I don't ping him as the note-taking type.
No.
Not note-taking or note-bringing.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's fascinating, like, how much he remembers and just knows, or just like on the spot. I mean, he's been doing it for decades now, but just like on the spot, every now and then he's on a live, and then somebody tells him like, hey, we need a quick this and this for the promotion, and he just goes on, one take, done. And I was like, what? Like, I know how many takes I take to get my stuff out. It's like, it's not one. And he's just like so in it, man. It's like, it's fascinating, like how dialed in he is into some of those things. And just like, I was exactly what to say, how to say it. Like, every word is just like, there's like so much respect for that. It's crazy.
100%.
Do you have a favorite panel when it comes to the comic book, or part of the story?
Like when you think of this book, what's the first panel or picture you see?
Yeah.
Is it him pissing on
I'll
the
give
grave?
you, I'll give you guys like a couple of things. The answer to Tom's last question and what I was going to say, it's not my favorite panel because I actually thought it, if I had a magic wand, I would have had the team recreate it a little bit more. But when we were doing the offsite and we were talking about the brother laying with his grandpa in the grave, that's what I think about when I think about this comic.
Yeah.
And I remember that visual in the book, but honestly, the most iconic one for the whole, what the story is the two of them sort of joining together. And actually, I rewatched the animation that we did, and I thought we captured that well. Yeah, exactly.
I had this loaded up. That's my favorite panel. Those two side by side.
Yeah,
that's what I had.
Yeah. I liked what the team did with seeing Barry out of the fly's eyes, and you see 8 of him.
That's
I
cool.
thought that was creative and fun.
Yeah, I like how
seeing the flame in Larry's eyes when he sees his signs getting burned up. I thought was also really fire and cool.
I like how
I look through and I still find things. Like there's a key on the bottom. I'm like, what is that key for? Why is that key there? And there's so many things. I feel like each time it's not just this comic, it's like every comic. Each time you reread it, you find something else, and like, I swear this wasn't there before. It's like you just miss so many things, which is really cool to like, especially for us, to like reread a lot of the stories and just because we want to talk in depth about them, like you read them differently as when you just like read through a story. Like it's been really cool to see. You just have a bigger appreciation of how much thought goes into each panel.
I was shocked when I saw Jay Lee's cover.
It's so good.
I like didn't know what to. I actually met in San Diego Comic-Con. I was walking to Artist Alley and I met David Mack and Jay Lee and some others. And I was really looking at Jay Lee's work. We had already signed him up to do the cover. He hadn't worked on it yet though. But I was getting more familiar with his Batman work, and I'm like, man, this is really sick. I have no idea what he's going to do with Monster. And then DJ sent it to me. My jaw just dropped because that thing is scary and badass.
Yeah. So I've met Jay Lee a few times. I have a few commissions from him from 5+ years ago, and I love his like. It's very like. The cape of Batman is very pointy and big,
very angular,
and I love that. So when I've asked him to do some artwork, I always try to pick a character like that. And one of my favorite book series is Stephen King's The Dark Tower, and he did the comic book version of that, and it was like so good, perfect match. Yeah. When they posted the 3 covers, the trio of covers coming out, and I saw Jay Lee, David Mack, and Mahfood, who I'm familiar with Mahfood prior to VeeFriends, but I never met him, got commissions or whatever, because I've gone comic conventions for years. But I have commissions from Mac and Jay Lee from 5 to 10 years ago. And so I was just like, holy shit. I always went with my one friend. We haven't gone in, 5+ years at this point. But like I called him and I sent him, and he doesn't know VeeFriends at all. But I'm like, yo, VeeFriends is making comics now and look who they got. And he was like, that's wild. Yeah. So, he's kind of pumped about it. I want to get him on here and like just get his perspective. I'm going to send him some comics and see what he thinks. We got to do that.
Good.
But that was, DJ being on was like, okay, they're starting to do comics, but it was more comic strips. But when I started seeing the J. Scott Campbell, like the real names that I've known for a long time, I'm like, they're leaning into this. They're not pussyfooting into it, Not that Gary and you guys do. You kind of, when you go for it, you go for it. But it was just.
Yeah, but we also like on the flip side too, like we taste a lot of things too.
Yeah.
I think that's part of Gary's strength as an entrepreneur. He's not afraid to try things and say like, actually, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think Gary, I always remember the decision to hire DJ literally from inception of Andy, I want to hire a comic artist to here you go, let's hire this comic artist was literally like 48 hours.
That's
72 hours. No, and it's crazy because from me getting on a phone call with DJ and being like, holy shit, like when I watched his stream, I already wanted to hire him.
Mhm.
Like I just knew he had it. And then after I talked to him, I was so excited. And Gary randomly, I think he saw how excited I was. He wanted to like really double down on making sure it was the right hire, because it is like, and talk about a key hire. This dude's going to bring to life the characters. He needs to really mesh well with us and have experience. So I got references from DJ, which honestly, for a lot of my hires, I'm not asking for like external references. But I talked to like 2 of his previous bosses, and they're like, he's the fucking best. But it all happened like 72 hours before me being on the call with DJ. I didn't even know that we were going to start doing comics.
That's crazy.
I love that. It's hire fast, right? Hire
Hire
fast.
fast and fire fast. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
I think who you hire at a company is the most important decision that you make at a company. And
Yeah.
I think it's also 100% guessing. You can make really, really strong, educated guesses, but you're still guessing. You're not really going to know until you all start doing the work.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it was one of the best moves you guys.
Yeah, and it's fun. How did you guys like DJ and Jim?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Jim Ruggs, another person like has been around forever.
Well, I don't know. Did you hear the story of Jim coming to the comics offsite?
DJ gave a little background of it. You want to share your?
It was just funny. So our I think you guys can tell our appetite and focus on comics is number one priority at the company. You know, this is where we're going. This is how we're bringing this universe of characters to life. And because of that, we need to build the comics team more. We have Ali and DJ and Kate and Chris, but DJ needs another right hand. So he had been talking to some people, and our comics offsite was coming up. This is a second one after the one where we did the monster. And DJ texted me like, hey, my buddy Jim. I wasn't familiar with Jim, but he sent me his Wikipedia page. I'm like, all right, he seems pretty legit.
Right.
Wants to come to the offsite. But it was an interesting dynamic because we're all sleeping together in the same house.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I didn't know if Jim would be comfortable with that. You know, like Gary becomes family very close and treats you like family very quickly. And I just didn't know how well Jim would vibe with that. So I asked Gary, I'm like, hey, is it cool if Jim comes? Because at this point, he's not an employee. He's not a contractor. He's just coming to see the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And within an hour, I'm like, Jim's the dude. He's like me, where he's pretty reserved and be quiet, but when he talks, you're like, I really want to hear what Jim's about to say.
Yeah.
You know, and he definitely knows his stuff. And for someone like Gary, Jim was basically like ChatGPT for Gary. Gary would just ask a million questions about comics. What happened in Detective Comics or Amazing Spider-Man or Fantastic? Like, they're just going through all the years of comics and what it meant to Jim at that moment in time and what it meant to the industry. And really fun. And I'm just pumped he's on the team now. And I think we have a really bright future for next year with the comics.
Yeah, I think that podcast they did was super informative and got a lot of people not only introduced to Jim, but excited about his inclusion. Because, you know, we're all excited. Gary B was supposed to be delivered today, and it wasn't by the time I came down, and I'm pissed about it because I wanted no. So I'm, you know, very excited about that. And, you know, Jim is a pro. He's been around for a long time. I started ordering his other stuff.
Yeah,
Street
Angel.
Street Angel. Yep. And I talked to my buddy who I always went, and he was like, "Get a Street Angel, the Hulk Grand Design," and he was like naming all the ones that Jim was talking about on there, and I was just like, "Okay, let's hit Amazon," you know?
Yeah.
So, very cool.
You said. And we all seen it, like VeeFriends is testing a lot of different things and just like seeing what's right for the IP. When was the moment for you where you felt like comics is it? Like, this is going to be our thing?
You know, I think there's two answers. There's the early answer with DJ that it is rapid storytelling in a social sense. Like DJ putting out a comic strip. I'm like, wow, I can build a little bit of a character affinity here. And now I just got to figure out how it can really work in the medium of TikTok or Instagram or where else. But honestly, it wasn't until the first comics offsite. once I could tell the level of depth Gary really wanted to push it, and ever since then I'm like, this is what it is. You know, this is how it's really going to come to life, because it makes a lot of sense. The speed at which you can produce a book, and the cool thing, like how you're describing it, and there is so much artistic detail, which I think attracts different audiences for different different reasons. So there's a lot of reasons, but it wasn't until the offsite where I could see the big picture of like, oh, this is really how we're going to build the brand with these characters, you know. And the fun thing too, it has this whole other collectability aspect. You know, CGC was grading comics before they were grading cards.
Oh yeah, they
I didn't know
are
that.
the company.
They started as a coin grading company, actually, and then they started grading comics.
Yeah, they grade like everything, but I knew them from comics from 10 years ago. You know, they were the premier brand, and they still are the premier brand. Like PSA is just getting into comics.
Yeah.
But you know, you could call them, if PSA is the gold standard for cards, like they're the PSA of comic books for sure.
100%.
Because there are other companies that do comic book grading that, you know, it's the same debate, just like in cards, CGC or, you know, PGX or CBCS, and you're just like, it's CGC or nothing, you know?
Yeah.
No.
I feel like the comics have set in a whole new, almost fire within VeeFriends in the community. Like, just like we've been talking a lot with other people about the comics, and like just seeing the excitement you all have, like if it's with you today, or we talk with Adam, we talk with DJ, and like seeing Gary talk about it, just like the passion you guys have around the comics and the storytelling around it, I feel like is really cool for us in the community to see too. Like we can really feel like comics is it. Like we arrived at what we needed. And like I've talked that I think with when we had Adam on or DJ on, that for me was the missing piece. Like this, there was some storytelling within VeeFriends, but not to this level. Like a comic book is a whole new level of like the depth you can go into a character and really learn about it, and really, especially through the comics, through the panels, like you can feel, like the panel tells you if it's darker or lighter, how you're supposed to take this in. It's not just like there's not that much text there to like take in, but it tells you like how to read something, and it's so cool, and it gives you a whole new appreciation of these characters. And I can see that within the community too, like people reading them, talking about them, and it's been so cool to have this new thing that just gets everybody together.
I can't wait for you guys to read the upcoming books.
Same.
We can't wait either.
I just did the final review of book number 10 with DJ and Gary.
Oh, right. That's the one about
Nope. Honestly, I love with the but it'll play out. But it's a damn good story. And it was funny, and kudos to DJ. That book actually, it has sort of like a running trope meme that the character keeps saying. And the first time the character said it, Gary laughed out loud. Like, and by the end, he was like dying laughing. And so I was like, but that's good. Have you gotten Gary B yet?
I've got it today, but I haven't opened it.
You haven't,
because I want to film myself open it. So it's always content.
I mean, we're filming right now. I'm just saying.
Nope. I need proper video. I need vertical, like content first. You know that.
I have 12 coming, so they should be here, and I would gladly do it. It might be out on my phone.
Ryan with the big pool. That made me happy.
I know.
Oh, God. He's had luck. Ryan is one of the guys that has hit me up since VeeFriends Comic to say, like, send me a couple recommendations of comics like that you know and love. And I'm sending him, like, you know, the typical, the Watchmen's and all that. And so he seems to be wanting more so much. And that's the best, is like when you want, like, I want VeeFriends, but I have to wait a month. So I need something to fill the void in between, you know? And so he's looking for comics, and I love that.
Did Rips talk or share any alpha on Chrome next year?
Not much.
Yeah.
So feel free.
You're welcome to.
Yeah.
I'll just give you, I reviewed some art with Adam today, and Adam was ecstatic.
Oh boy.
So if Adam's ecstatic, you know we're in a good place.
Art. Does that mean, so we're talking inserts then? It's gotta be.
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness.
We
More
did talk about
inserts or the same amount?
I've said too much already.
I know they're different. I got that they're different. I'm not asking.
I mean,
but-
I think you say some new, some old, you know?
Okay. What we did get some information about the spectacular stickers. That's what we kind of asked him about
Yeah.
because it was so topical at the
should.
time.
I'm really excited, and we've had some strategic combos about it too, but the interplay between the comics and cards is going to
Yes.
be really fun. You know,
Yep.
and it's gonna come to life in a lot of different ways. And I think Adam and Gary and I and the team are just being really thoughtful of how that plays out and making sure it's
The comic insert of the stickers is so exciting to
I
me.
know.
I'm so excited for all of the sticker. I mean, like that's a drop that looks. I mean, you guys treated it like a card drop. So
yeah,
it's very exciting. Can't wait for that.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And I know you had a ton of questions.
I think
So
I
I
asked
just
them.
want to
We
make
talked
sure
about
you get to
some
them all.
But I know you had some questions and games you had.
I did. So, once we we like to talk about the issue, right? So
Yes.
we've covered that at length at this point, get some background on you, get some, perspective on stuff. And then we kind of do a tone shift, to just some more lighthearted stuff. But I want to make sure I ask your questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I
good?
think I asked them all. I'm good.
All right. Let's start off with a
Did we
blind.
you know why the purple cap, and
I don't.
well, this is true, but it's woven into the story. Motivated Monster was originally drawn with the purple cap as an ode to purple cap CryptoPunks,
Yes.
which is a rarity
heard
in
about that.
CryptoPunks, which is Gary. I don't want to speak for him, but I think it's probably his favorite rarity. I know he has a few purple cap CryptoPunks, and of course, in the comic book, the grandpa is wearing it in his grave.
He's buried with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like Gary always talks, don't be red or blue. It's purple.
Purple.
Yeah.
I like that. It all comes together at the end.
All comes together at the end.
Okay. Let's do a blind ranking. Are you familiar with blind ranking? Basically, I'm going to name a VeeFriends character. We're blind ranking VeeFriends characters.
Okay.
And there's 10 total. And you have to not know what's coming next. Put the character in where you think it's going to rank. So there's really no wrong answer. But at the end, you're going to be like, oh, I wish I didn't do this or put this there or whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
So
number ranking.
Yep. So your favorite character.
Yeah.
Your Andy's favorite character.
Okay.
Blind rank. All right.
Let's do it.
So we're going to start off with Alert Ape,
27.
but it's 1 through 10. I have 10 total characters. So
1
where
through
1
10.
through 10. Yep. I have 10 specific characters. So it's going to be your
7.
favorite to least favorite.
7.
7. Lower than I would have
Really?
expected.
Yeah.
All right.
Alert Ape's never been the one for me. I don't know
I
why.
love it. I was so hoping that you would have opinions that were different than like community.
Yeah. It's
feel.
weird, honestly. Out of like community staff, listen. It's a cool character. Sigs, starter jacket. It never really did it for me.
I love it. Skilled skeleton.
The erupt ape does it for me.
The erupt ape is fire.
That
Let's
one
go.
really skeleton. I'll go with 5. Gramps is kind of a skeleton. It's book number 5. I'll go with
I mean,
5.
he's been buried for how many years? He
Yeah.
should be skilled.
Yeah.
All right. Bullish bull.
8.
8. Okay. To the moon meerkat.
I'll go 6.
6. Okay. So you have
Just because I like y'all. I like To the Moon.
5, 6, 7, 8 taken.
Yeah.
Tremendous tiger.
Tremendous Tiger. Arguably, it's in the top 5 original drawings,
Oh,
in my opinion, which I think which matters. I'll give it a 4.
nice. Respectful raccoon with 1 C.
Listen, given the spots, it has to take 3.
Ooh.
Respect
And-
matters, right? Like
So I'm
the fun thing
saying.
about VeeFriends character, you can't have respect and be respectful without compassion, self-awareness, humility, confidence, all these other attributes. So, and another friend I know, they are the respectful raccoon Maxis. It's a good character, and it has a unique spelling.
It does. Bowling boa.
Bowling boa. You know, it's either 1 or 10. I'll go with 10.
It's breaking my heart. Okay.
You have a bowling boa?
I do.
You bowled a pretty mean game, right? Like
I
win,
didn't at the event. I only went to one because I bought it after one redemption happened. And the bowling alley, this is like such a sore subject, but the bowling alley we went to, was it Lucky Strike or whatever?
Yeah.
They were like, they brought like a professional bowler came right to the event. And she like came with her like 3 balls in a bag. Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's my competition. Right. Cause I bowled for many years. I was, in high school and all that. So I had a ball. I brought my ball and shoes. I was like ready. I was like, this is my event. And it was awful. The lanes were dry. And I to the point where the pro was like throwing gutters. And she went to the, like, she was like getting embarrassed. Right. So she went to like the people and be like, like, as soon as the ball touches the lane, it flies into the gutter. And she's like, when did you last oil these lanes? And they were like, we oil it like every other week. And she's like, it's supposed to be every day. Yeah. And you're talking about like every other week. So we both we had our own balls. We put them aside and we're grabbing lane balls that aren't meant to like hook really hard. And it was a disaster.
That's so funny.
The fact that Corso beat me and he holds that over me and I that's the worst part of it. Oh my God. Anyway.
Oh, that's good.
Keynote Koala. That should be high now with this teaser that came out, right?
Yeah. Well, a couple of distinctions. One, I don't really everything's taken besides 3, 2, 1, right? I think so.
You still have a 9, I think. So 8 was 7. Skeleton was 5. Bull was 8.
So
Meerkat was 6. Tiger.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I still have 9.
4. I think Raccoon you put 3. So you have 1, 2, and 9.
Damn. So Koala 2025 is different than Keynote Koala.
That's true. That's true. I meant the book game Koala.
Yeah.
I said Keynote, but I meant book game Koala.
You meant Koala 2025.
Yes, I did. I meant
number 2 is Koala 2025.
2. Well, I know where this is gonna go. Catfish. Fuck me. This is a disaster.
Catfish number 1. Let's do it, man.
Let's go. You're gonna not be happy. And the last one, the Forever Phoenix.
That's actually, I love it because that's the whole point of the Phoenix.
He starts
he's rise from the ashes, man.
All right.
Started at 9. He'll be at 1 soon enough.
That was about to be a disaster for me to have my 2 characters 9 and 10.
Did you mint Catfish?
I didn't. No. My first VeeFriend was a very rare gutsy gecko. And then I ended up trading that to Aiden Tag.
Yep.
He had the gold catfish. I wasn't targeting the catfish. He was just someone that I had talked to, was cool as hell, and was willing to like work deals. And he was very trusting because like he was like, I was like, I'm interested in a trade, but I won't do it offside or whatever. And because I said something like, I was so, because everyone, people were trying to scam, constantly early on. And he was like, because you didn't want to do that, I'll just send you the catfish first. And then once you get it, you can send me yours. So I traded the very rare gecko and some ETH for the catfish. And then I went back and bought the very rare coyote from him, my core caterpillar from him. And then I traded that coyote, the very rare coyote, for the bowling boa.
Nice.
And some ETH. because I wanted to go to that event. So I had like just started streaming like very, very early. And I was like getting into content. I've never been a social media guy my whole life, even like through the Facebook age and all that. So I was just starting and I was like, I need to go to this bowling event if I want to get in. And I remember minting a Jeremy Knows token before Jeremy joined the team to like talk to him about content and starting to like put myself out there. And he gave me some tips and all that. And so that was like full circle. I got to go there. Jeremy was there. It was a great night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to push Tom to make more content. I know he's busy, but he's so good at it.
I go through waves of it. There will be a day where I'm like inspired to do something, like when I did the Gary videos recently. Not recently, like months and months ago. But then like for the longest time, I'm like, I don't feel like making anything. I'd be like forcing myself to do it and it'll come through and then it sucks.
I get that's real, you know, creativity and things like that can come in waves, but you are really good at it, Tom.
Thank you.
I think the last comic offsite where I think maybe Jim was there was the one last time I saw you. I was laughing out loud with you watching a Gary video.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what he was talking about, but he's like, take a step back. Yeah. Perspective. I think Gary and I watched that video like 3 times.
No way. See, like I
just died laughing, man. It was so funny.
That's so fun because like you never know who sees what, right? And especially Gary. But like you had commented on it, and I was like, "That's awesome. I appreciate when you give some, you show some love. So I appreciate you." But like you don't expect any. You definitely don't expect it to reach Gary. I mean, his timeline, or his algorithm,
you guys,
it's not showing me.
I think people are surprised. Like, I think you guys get a sense of it because you watch closely and you're really tapped in to Gary and our live streams and such. But there's not a day that my phone isn't dinging from 8 a.m. to midnight with tweets, links, comments. You know, but that's what makes us great. You know. The feedback loop and signals of where we're headed and where we want to go and reception and fanfare and all the like.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know, but there's so many people for all of you to watch. And that's why I'm like, there's definitely not all the videos I've ever done. Gary has commented on one. He has retweeted, he has liked, but like, you don't know if he's actually seeing it or just like I remember I posted a how to submit on CGC and Gary retweeted it within seconds. So I'm like, he didn't watch this because it was like a 4-minute video and he retweeted it. He must have just been on and it popped up and he saw and he did. So I'm like, he's not watching, but he might just show it. There was only one and it was like me. It was like a Disney parody, like stupid. It was all my videos are stupid.
I remember how excited Gary was when we were writing some of the Moonbug episodes and we included the bison and brave cat, but bison and catfish. But I guess that was after the comic strip, and that comic strip was really the first one.
That is with the gulp.
Yeah. And
apparently, this is rumor. It was Gary's idea to have the bison swallow the catfish, but it was DJ's idea to like have the catfish leap out. And apparently Gary didn't want that at first, but DJ was like, "No, we're gonna give a redemption."
I remember. I think it was like the second comic.
It was early,
Yeah, it was like second or third strip. And at that time, we're trying to make sure DJ's good and he can position the comics right and all that stuff. And Gary just texts, huge idea. Bison and catfish.
So funny. So fun. And it's like, Josh and I have texted and talked every time something comes up, like the sticker, right? The Showdown sticker. It's like, this rivalry is only being kept alive from the VeeFriends team. Like we haven't done rivalry content in like 2 years and you guys keep it alive.
We'll keep it. Gary loves to stir the pot sometimes. I'll admit that.
I mean,
what happened? I totally forgot about this. This was wild and we should actually make some content about it. Gary sent a series 1 catfish to who got bite.
I got the bison.
You got it.
I got a series 1 very rare bison. Random night, Gary was on his tear of like it was, after Christmas or whatever. And he's just like, answer, OG's get in here and answer some questions. And so I'm like, I happen to have my phone. I'm like, I'm in. And then all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up. Tom, Gary said, check your wallet. It was late at night. It was like midnight. I was in bed. Right.
Yeah.
And then I saw that it was a bison. I was like, no fucking way. Josh calls me and I'm just like, I don't know what to think about. I mean, maybe you're getting the catfish. We were like, I don't know. And what's funny is that at the time he only had a rare. So at that time I had a higher tier bison than him. And then I'm like, I'm about to do so much content of being the biggest bison fan ever.
Right.
I bought the comfort tee. I started doing it was a fun.
You still have it?
Yeah, because Gary said you're never allowed to get rid of it. You can't sell it. You can't do whatever. But me and Josh had a pact. I was like, if you get a catfish, we'll obviously switch, right? And he was like, yeah, of course. Fuck whatever Gary says. But no, it's still there. I'm still part of the herd.
Part of the herd, man.
That's right. It's a wild thing.
We talked with Adam about it last week, and he said, yeah, he like, I think talked to Gary or texted Gary, like, he thought that Gary mixed up the characters. Yeah. Gary's like, no, that was on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm sure Gary had some wine or something that night.
No, I think
he's just a shit stirrer.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I don't love at the National, the first thing, I like walked up to the booth. I'm talking to someone and Gary just comes up behind me. I didn't even say hello to him yet. And he just grabs the back of my arm and squeezes as hard as he could. It hurts so fucking bad. I had a bruise all over here. Like, what a dick.
Oh, man.
So funny. But that's what, I remember super early on, he on a live stream that he, people were like, he's being so mean to you. And I was just like, and we hadn't had that kind of back and forth banter yet. And I was just like, I had the perspective and I was early to stream. So like, again, I was like building up confidence on how to do this. It was the first night I ever sold something. Up until that point, I was opening my own shit. And so I was like nervous as it was. And then when I saw 800 people in the chat and people telling me that Gary's telling me to do so. And then I was like, listen, this is what he does to his friends.
It's very true.
So like, I take it as a compliment that he's not going to say that to someone that he doesn't think can take it.
Yeah.
Because he's also the person that like looks you in the eye and tells you you're enough to the people that need to hear that. So, anyway. That's
exactly right.
All right. Catfish number 1. That's the breaking news, and make a clip. Okay. I have one more quick thing.
Please.
It's only 4 showdowns. It's a this versus that. What would Andy recommend?
I love this.
What would you like or what you would recommend? So would you rather have one of the special book games, not the tiny ogre, right? The koala or the paper hands pony versus current time, no redemption.
The ogre.
Well, obviously the ogre. So we're not take the ogre out. One of the specials or
why'd you take the ogre out of the specials?
Because I'm gonna put it
Okay.
One of those or a FaceTime access token, current, no redemptions left. What would you rather have? Series 1 FaceTime or a special book games, not including Tiny Ogre, because that would be a obvious choice.
Which would be what? Koala or paper hands?
Yeah. Versus FaceTime fly, flea, frog, fox.
This is a really tough one. This is a good one.
I tried to match them up.
This is a really good one. You know what, Tom? I'll be honest, it's almost 50-50.
I love that.
But because it's 50-50, I have to go with the tried and true. That Series 1 is Series 1 and Series 1 is the alpha. That's what you got to go with.
That's what I thought you were going to say. And I agree. Even though no redemption,
it doesn't
even
matter.
though it's not a Chrome character, it's not a this, they're never really going to reach the heights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe.
When VeeFriends was like, as I said, when he was drawing those characters and everything, it started with the access characters in VCon. And Web3 and the utility of NFTs has gone through a bunch of cycles, but I would be shocked. But in that moment in time and in the videos, Gary said that VeeFriends is his blueprint. It's a blueprint for others. And I definitely looking back, would have thought there would have been more projects like VeeFriends that were
Yeah.
really doing like own this. Taylor Swift launch an NFT, and like if you own this one NFT, you can go to a studio session with her,
Yeah.
and then that can be sold to a super fan the next year. It didn't really shape out that way, but I would be shocked in 10, 5, 20, 30, 40 years that doesn't come to life in a meaningful way when the UX, UI, and consumer experiences are there. And something like FaceTime Fly will be looked back at and be like, whoa, that was fucking dope.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, the access as an access token holder, you know, you kind of wish like someday he's gonna
Yeah.
say, you know what, let's run it back, right?
Yeah.
One more year of access or something,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, and I think the FaceTimes are the easiest ones to do, right? 5-minute, 10-minute FaceTime. You know what I mean? So
Never say no in VeeFriends.
All right, next one. On that note, so again, current day access, no redemptions left versus an epic series 1.
Depends the character.
I guess so. Epic raccoon.
Give me the epic raccoon.
Fair. Goat or spec? Again, you're going to say character, so let's stick with
the raccoon.
Yeah, we'll stick with the raccoon.
You're giving me tough ones, teacher.
It's supposed to be tough.
Goat or spec raccoon? The answer is raccoon, but it also could depend on the day.
So
like,
are there
like if you ask me, you know, 2 weeks before I knew that we're announcing goats are getting sapphire,
True.
which only is probably the lowest run of sapphire tops we'll ever make in history. I don't know if I could get away with saying raccoon, but I love specs. I think specs are underrated. I think they're probably the most underrated thing you can get. I love, by the way, I'm big on Steph Curry crossovers. Just for like, you can get a Steph Curry crossover for like $10 on eBay. I just love the idea of being like 70 and showing my grandkids this VeeFriends Steph Curry collab we did back in the day.
Yeah, it's awesome. I have a sealed case that, you know, we owned to the moon, had a bunch, and I have one here, and I'm like, we love the idea of keeping sealed product, right? We have several chrome cases, because we're thinking long term, right? Next year, chrome, year 1, year 2, combined break, stuff like that. So that's one that I think, and the Spectacular series, which is not just 1 up, it's like 10 up to me of the Curry sticker. I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
Would you say that there's so if it's based on character, so like let's say a lower tier, when you think lower tier, I don't want to be insulting, what comes to your head? Like, you know, a coyote.
We always joke about pea salad. Wait, I don't know. Yeah, it was Jeremy on the news. I said underrated character. He immediately went pea salad. May knew she loves pea salad.
She does. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Noble Numbat. You know, I think that's a lower tier character.
Okay, so would a spec Numbat be below a goat then? I wanted to see the point I want to make is how is it?
It matters. Yeah, I would say it's funny with the Numbat and why I brought up the Numbat. I actually know I have a friend who has a spec Numbat. So I'll be sure to clip this to him and tell him that I took a gift code over his spec Numbat.
Okay, so there you go. So it's not just specs.
As they say, there's levels to this shit, right, Tom?
Sure. Okay, so it's not a universal. Got that. That's kind of what I wanted to see. All right, last one. A 1-of-1 comic lollipop or a 1-of-1 Gary sketch cover comic?
Man, I could do this all day with you, Tom. I love these questions. It's really 50. I think the right answer is a sketch cover. You know, because it's truly a 1-of-1 unique artwork, sketch, creator, founder. I got to go with that, but I'm also in love with the lollipop, and I cannot wait for when the first lollipop gets pulled.
I know. What the hell?
Imagine it just shows up on like Golden or Heritage one day in like a graded CGC, and we just do exactly what we're doing with the black sapphire selections. Wait, someone pulled a lollipop?
No, you know where has it? Little fucking Ricky. That you
Little
keep bringing
Ricky
up.
is hoarding.
Fuck Little
I'm
Ricky.
telling you, I think we're gonna be surprised, man. Like, cause I know Little Ricky exists because I was watching those. I mean, you guys were there.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people in line.
I offered
A
Little
lot
Ricky
of people
like
had
50
no
bucks.
idea what they were getting, who we were about. You know, after we gave them out, we're like, hey, this is VeeFriends. Make sure you go to VeeFriends.com, follow us on social. But Little Ricky's walking around with the first ever super fracture.
Motherfucker. And I offered him $50 for it, and he said,
Yeah,
he said no.
Yeah.
That's it. Those were I wrote those 2 minutes before you hopped on. I wish I had more for you.
All good. We can do it again.
All right.
Speaking of Little Ricky, it is not a Little Ricky, but last Comic-Con, there was a mom with her son, and she didn't know what VeeFriends was. So I talked with her, and like they picked up some cards, and at home he made his own game board for the TCG. And this year they came back. He was there with dad, and I almost didn't recognize him because he was like 9 last year, and I was 10, and just like completely changed. And then mom came a day later and said he didn't want to come to Comic-Con because it's like a mom and her brother thing. And when she told him that VeeFriends was there, that's when he wanted to go.
Yeah.
So he really just wanted to go for VeeFriends. That was such a cool story to hear of like a 9-10-year-old getting excited for the IP.
Yeah.
It was just those stories I feel like are really cool.
VeeFriends shows up at events, and I think it's through Gary, but our whole team, I think we know how to operate around people and be welcoming, and it definitely rings true. You know, and with Fanatics Fest and Comic-Con 2-3 years back to back to back, people are going there every time now, and they recognize us. They're not always tapped into everything that we're doing, but they're always happy to see us there.
I mean, you have a great event team, right? So it was a much smaller convention, but it was 20 minutes from my house. The Philly show, in Oaks, and I went there, hung out with Corso, Jess, and Court, who are just like the coolest. And then I went with, I brought my son. It was the first card show, and
let's go.
You know, and I met a few friends there that were going for sports cards, and I was like, guys, come with me. And they were loving it. They were just engaged conversation. One of my friends bought a booster box. I mean, a blaster.
Yeah.
And you know, just to kind of get into it, and they had a blast, and they were like, the team is awesome. So they're awesome. Just great.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And you got anything else?
No, I think we talked about, I mean, you can always go for hours. We know that, but
yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
So what happened? Do you think Barry is dead, Ann?
Motivated Monster Barry? Like,
no, the brother who got his heart punched out.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't have a heart. I think so. Now you make me question it.
No, I think so, but you know, I know you asked Ann, but you know,
just because you're gonna die fly is gonna land it on him of like you had your chance and you didn't use it, and if you don't, that's what you get.
I love that. I'm gonna ask them about that 3 panels too. I love that you saw that and thought that.
Tom, you can talk to.
Fun fact: I remember, as you were saying, I remember vividly, D-Rock and I editing that video. We were gonna publish it on a Monday morning. We were working in the office on Sunday, trying to crush like the thumbnail, the title of that video, because we knew it was gonna go viral.
Because her reaction after like, that's not.
And it's just not what she was expecting, and so off-putting. But at the same time, you're like, "Damn, that's right."
It was the perfect response, and I wonder how often he said that before then. You know what I mean? Was that like cocked back, ready? Because he gets asked so many times. You know, like if you had one more thing, if you could say one thing. I feel like that's such a common question. So I feel like, does he have that as a canned answer? But for her, it was just 3 words. And like, did he just pull that out of his ass?
She just said 3 words. It just confined him so much where he's like, you're gonna die.
Right. He probably has a longer answer when he has more words to say, like, you're gonna die one day, you know, do all the, you know, the 400 trillion to 1 odds of being born and all that.
I know why he made You're Gonna Die Fly. I'm still trying to figure out who was born in 1997 though.
That's what Rip said too. I feel like they're all
still trying to figure that one out. Oh man.
I feel like they're all committing to the bit.
Mystery. Yeah.
And everyone knows, and they're just Andy and Rips, and everyone is just spreading this.
On my depth, I promise you, almost every character, like if it push came to shove, I would feel pretty confident about like this is where it has to go.
Okay.
You give me who was born in '97, I got the white flag. I'm like I'm gonna do a community poll. Like, what do y'all think?
Is it true that Wine Library started in 1997?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Someone said that. I never actually looked it up, but I was like, but still, like he's
Well, it's interesting,
personifying
like,
Wine Library.
I guess there's a definitive date, but because Wine Library was originally a discount liquors, I think.
Yeah.
And then they rebranded it.
Right. So I didn't know, but like to personify that would be weird.
Weird, yeah. I think he's talked about just that age demo and like trying to target, which has come to be true because I've met. I posted a video about it. It's one.
Gary had actually talked about like that character on a live and said sometimes numbers mix. So maybe he said it wrong, and it's actually 79. So
What
that's
the fuck?
So
I feel like Gary just throws shit at the wall, backs himself into a corner, knowing that he can just be creative enough to dig it out. And that's what I almost was.
Did I just break it? My
You rugged. It's fine.
my laptop died. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, like, that's why I wanted to ask you, because Ann just said that on a live stream. Gary, what was it?
On a live stream, Gary said sometimes when you talked about the character, sometimes numbers mix. So almost like maybe it was supposed to be in 1979. I'm like, oh my god, now it's a whole different story.
Changes everything.
Like, he just
out of here. He just says and does shit and then just creatively bails it out later. That's why I wanted to ask, like, how much did he actually? Because some of these things where I'm like, did he actually plan this out, or did he was just like, we need 250 plus, so just do it and we'll figure it out later and then be creative later. You know what I mean?
The answer, it's always both.
There you go.
He had his quota of characters, and I think for sure some characters he's very intentional about, and he was intentional in ways that he likes to keep to himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he always talks about, and I don't know if this is true, but he does talk about a video that he recorded by himself when we weren't around, talking specifically about some of the characters while we were in Malibu. And other times he's great at setting up the characters and the IP and brand for optionality, which is smart. A lot of people want to say it has to be this thing, but it doesn't have to be that thing.
Right. Yeah, no, it's very, I can see him doing that. He plants a lot of seeds, right? And he'll throw something like, what is the thing in the foot of 555 fan? Right? Like, yeah, just fucking, it could have been like he dropped the marker, but he'll be like, no, I meant that. and it has and he'll just smirk and say it has a purpose, and everyone loses their mind over it. And I'm just like, I don't fucking believe you on all this. Yeah. The numbers are mixed up.
But we appreciate we always talk over each other. That's like always. A common thing.
Yep.
We appreciate you coming on and just like taking the time. It's really cool to hear just like the backstories about these characters, the comics, just like the insides of like pulling back the curtains, just having the conversations, and you guys just taking the time. And we know you guys are busy, but just it's different hearing it from just us versus from you guys.
We appreciate y'all very much, and I love you guys' content, and I was more than happy to be on. Thank you for not just collecting the comics and being a part of the comics, but for reading them and sharing their stories.
Well, thank you for creating them, because it's comics were my VeeFriends before VeeFriends, so now I get to combine the two passions I've had in the last 20 years, into one. It's great. I've
awesome.
I've picked up other comic books. I'm on a collection of books I've had for 6-7 years. I didn't mean to do that. I really didn't. That was unintentional. I probably have had it for like 7 years or so, and I've never read them. I've heard how good it is. They made a show about it and all that. And like I said, in between issues, I haven't I needed something, and I'm like, this has sparked me to read more comics, which is a message we have been preaching for months now. Just read more comics, because I think people have an idea about them, and we want to change that stigma or whatever it is around comic book readers.
I love it.
So thank you so much, Prez.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. See you soon.
You got it. Well, thanks for tuning in to Is It Canon? We'll see you on the next episode, where we will cover issue 6. I'm Tom. That's Ann.
Read more comics.
Read more fucking comics. I think we've said that on every time you say it, I say that. So that worked out.